Well presented film, 50, 40, Magic Million film, 40, 30, 20, thank you, 20, 20,000, 5, 25, 25.
Hey guys, welcome to our January 2018 edition of our online newsletter. Of course, we've got a lot to go through this month, being the month at the sales kickoff. We just came home from the January Magic Million sale where we purchased 3 beautiful yearlings, 2 fillies and a colt. We've also got the English Classic sale just around the corner, all happening at the new complex at Warwick Farm. There's 800 lots going through that sale, so it's going to be quite busy and we will be active there. And horses to follow. Of course, we'll touch on last month's horse to follow and hopefully find you another winner moving forward. So we'll kick off with horses to follow. Last month we pointed you to a very lovely 4-year-old Sebring gelding named Bring a Gem. At that point, when we did tip you toward him, he ran his first race over 1,000 metres after having just one trial. Obviously a very unsuitable 1,000 metres, being a horse that's going to get over a mile. But he ran a lovely 4th, hitting the line really well. Moved up, or stepped up rather, to the 1280 where he lost on protest. Probably should have won that race, but it wasn't meant to be. And then the following start, he stepped up to the 1400, and he was short odds, but we did tell you to follow him. It was the first leg of the quaddie, so it would have been a good way to kick your quaddies off if you singled him out. And here is a replay of that particular race. This is Bring a Gem, 3rd up over the 1400 metres.
Open off and racing. It was a good start. Olive Beauty went out the back. The favourite Bring a Gem away quickly. And driving up along the inside was Tumbleweed to share the lead there now. Oddfellow up to 3rd on the outside of Prince of Mars, and then Roy Fashion 5th the inside. Sass and Twinkle's a touch deep around Exquisite Halo. A length and a quarter Query on, 3 parts of a length Bailey's Mistake, and 5 last of all to Olive Beauty at the 1,000. And Tumbleweed showing plenty of pace to lead the favourite Bring a Gem by half a length. 2.5 away 3rd Oddfellow on the outside of Roy Fashion. A length and a half Prince of Mars. He goes around Exquisite Halo. 2 to Sass and Twinkle on the outside of Query on, 3 to Bailey's Mistake, 3 last of all to Olive Beauty, ridden along about 12 lengths off the lead, and Tumbleweed by a half length to the $1.28 favourite Bring a Gem. 2.5 to Oddfellow on the outside of Roy Fashion, then Prince of Mars, Exquisite Halo. Sass and Twinkle starts to run into it quite well from Query on, and a long way back Bailey's Mistake and Olive Beauty last of all at the 400, and Bring a Gem, the favourite, has hit the front on the point of the corner, goes clear from Tumbleweed. Oddfellow is running a pretty good race in 3rd position, and Sass and Twinkle's down the outside. Bring a Gem got to the lead and shot away 2 in front of Oddfellow. Sass and Twinkle runs a big race down the outside from Tumbleweed, but it's Bring a Gem inside the 100 doing it well. It's Home and Hose Bring a Gem, and the odds-on favourite goes on to win it really well. A length and a half. Sass and Twinkle, a good run for 2nd from Oddfellow, and then came Query on a long gap to Tumbleweed, who showed pace, and further back then came Prince of Mars, Exquisite.
So you can see why we've told you to follow this horse. He's got a lot of ability. He's only just working it out. He had another start after that run over 1600 at Gosford, and his inexperience told that day. He looked like he was going to win by 3 lengths, shied away from the big screen there on the Gosford track, and basically threw the race away on the line. But he'll be all better for this experience. He went out for a spell after that particular run, and he's only got a couple of weeks left out in the paddock before he comes back into work. He's really a horse you want to follow. He's going to work through his grades nicely now that he's had some racing under his belt. So be sure to follow Bring a Gem come next preparation. Now moving forward, we've pointed you to a horse named Vincero in the past. Another 4-year-old, this one by Stratum. A big strapping fellow. He's over 600 kilos, but boy, he can gallop. We will be trialling him over the coming week. Now, his last start was a very convincing win in a Class 1 at Newcastle over 1150 with Brenton Avdulla on board. Unfortunately, he suffered a little bit of a setback after this run and had to go out for a spell, but he's back now. And given his last start win and the dominance of that last start win, you really want to be following this guy moving forward. So this is
Castle in the off and racing, and not surprising jump well, but being restrained. And Saskia Rose will take the early lead. The favourite Vincero taken back to last, and Saskia Rose leads out by 3/4 to Survey's Legacy. Not surprising, won't drop its head in third position. Boy Gibbons has got a real job at his hands here. Over on the inside is Ander Guppy, and Vincero's last of all. Well, not surprising, still won't drop its head. It's really firing up. And the leader is Saskia Rose out by a half to Survey's Legacy. And Guppy improving on the rouse. Now, not surprising, given its head, and it's starting to make ground around the home turn, so it's travelling a bit kinder now. And the short price favourite, Vincero. Abdullah's pulling to the outside for uninterrupted running. Into the straight now, and Saskia Rose. Pena tries to slip a bit of a margin on them. It's 3 lengths clear. Vincero's coming down the outside. It went straight past, not surprising. Saskia Rose at the 200 in front, but Vincero's quickly roping it in on the outside, and Vincero went straight past Saskia Rose, and not surprising. And the short price favourite's going to win for fun. Vincero from last is really starting to rip away and wins it by 3 lengths to Saskia Rose. Not surprising. Well, I think it's fair to say it wasn't surprising that it couldn't close off the way it raced. It really needed to drop its head.
Well, I think that sums it up. You can see how much potential this fellow has. I believe he ran his last 600 metres there in 33 seconds flat. So he's a very fast horse. He's really got a big turn of foot, and you certainly want to be watching him as he works through his grades come next preparation. Now, we mentioned that we went to the Magic Million sales, came back with a few lovely yearlings. Of course, a lot of our successes come from that particular sale with the likes of Testa Shadow and Straturbo, Vincero, who we just mentioned, Bring a Gem, you know, those horses to follow. They've all come out of this particular sale. So it's been kind to us. We were lucky enough to purchase 2 fillies by freshman size Dissident and Deep Field, and an absolutely cracking colt by Manhattan Rain. This particular colt has a real likeness to a really smart 2-year-old we had a few years back named I'm All the Talk. Carbon copy of him, and this fellow looks like a really early running type himself. We're not advertising this fellow to the public as such, rather we're just putting him to our current database and owners. We've only got a handful of shares left, so if you are interested, you can get in touch with me through the website, www.elitethoroughbreds.com.au. But for now, we'll play you a little clip, just a short clip of what Gary had to say about this particular colt.
I'm really looking forward to training this colt by Manhattan Rain out of Natouche, a daughter of Hassanay. He's an outstanding type of colt, as you can see by the photo. He reminds me a hell of a lot of a great horse that we had called All the Talk. He was a very fast horse, massive hindquarter, real rich chestnut, and this fella looks a carbon copy of him. So we can't wait to see him walk up our driveway.
So they were Gary's comments on the Manhattan Rain Natouche colt purchased at the Magic Millions. Again, if you're interested, just get in touch with me via the website. Now, moving forward, we will be active at the Inglis Classic sale held at the New Warwick Farm Complex. As I said, 800 lots going through that particular sale. It's going to be a very busy sale, a very big sale. And if you want to see how we're travelling, be sure to check in with our social media and webpage for updates on purchases that we make at the Inglis Classic. In more news, we are in the process of locking down an open day. It's a little difficult at present with the big racing coming up, the carnival and you know, the 2-year-old racing all you know, around the corner. But we will be locking in a date, and once we do so, we'll be sure to let you know through our next newsletter, social media and our website. That's all we've got time for this month. I hope you enjoyed the newsletter, and be sure to check back in a few weeks with the next month's edition.